Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with our series on C#. So in the previous video, we've been able to see the introduction to C#, do the outputs, comments, that is the single line and multiple line comments. We were able to also do variables, how to declare variables, constants, and even displaying variables, and even multiple how to declare multiple variables. So in this particular video, we are going to learn something on data types. So I'll just maybe just clean my screen here. As you can see, for those who are watching us for the first time, we have a project which is a console app, and we have one file that is program.cs, and this is where we are using to demonstrate some of the things that we are doing. So if you're watching us and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and also like the video. So today we are going to start with what we called data types. So I'll just begin our series with data types. And on data types, so I want us to start by first knowing what are data types. So previously we talked about variables. So a variable in C# must be specified with a data type. So that takes us to today's video. So what is a data type? So a data type just seeing if we are live. Just want to ensure that we are good. Yeah, I think we are good. So on today's video, I want us to start with the data types. So I'll begin with so as we said, in C# we were able to do variables in our previous episode, and today I want us to do data types. So for example, if we do for example int number, and we say this is 5. We also do, for example, bool, say is active, then we say false. We also have let's say car, we do letter, say air. So these are some of the variables that we have. So you can see we have we've declared variables and assigned them values. Now this one this is integer. This is boolean, and also this is character. So here, so what is a data type? So a data type specifies the size and the type of variable values. So it is actually important to use the correct data type for the corresponding variables that you are actually defining, just to avoid errors and to save time and memory. So as you can see, we are doing something here, the int, boolean, and character. So these are what we are referring to as data types. So we have various data types. So we have various data types. So we have first one is can do here int. We also have long. We also have float. We also have float. And this one, it all has different sizes. So we said a data type specifies the size and type of a variable value. So this one has 4 bytes. This one long has 8 bytes. We have float. Float usually has 4 bytes, I mean. Then we have double. So here we have double. This also has 8 bytes. Then we have bool. So we say this stores true or false values. So this one has 1 byte. Then we also have car. This one has 2 bytes. Then we have string. So these are various data types that we have in C#. So this also stores 2 bytes, and it stores 2 bytes per character. So it's not only 2 bytes, but it stores 2 bytes per character. So as you can see, these are various data types that we have. We have int, long, float, double. We have bool. We also have char, and we also have string. So this stores 2 bytes per character. This stores 2 bytes, 1 byte, 8 bytes, 4 bytes, 8 bytes, and 4 bytes. Now, I want us to start by one of them. We can go step by step. So we have numbers. So number types are divided into 2 groups. So we have so here we have numbers. So in numbers we have integer. So I'll just do here integer types, and we have floating types. So we have these 2 types. So for integers, they store whole numbers, that is positive or negative. So this is integers. So these integers, and this is floating. So we said integer type stores. So this is integer types here stores all numbers, positive or negative, like 4, 3, 5, 6, or negative 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we have floating types. So these represent numbers with a fractional part. Yeah? So it has 1 or more decimals. So this could be, so, and we actually have value types here. So for floating types, we have float. Remember, we have these 2 types of data types. We have float and double. So for floating types, we have float and double. So here, I think we can just start with int. So for the integers, we've been doing int. Let's say x. Then we do 5. Then you can do y, int y 5. So then we have for long, we can do long. We say here x. Then we can say 5. Put that number. Then we say here. So this is long. And say, so we should not have the same name here. C. So, and you can actually print that. So the long data type can store numbers from, it's actually a big number. This is actually used when int is not large enough to store the value. So we said int stores 4 bytes, but if the value that you have is long enough in these 4 bytes, then you can use long. So for floating types, so I think these are the 2 main important integer types that you should actually be using. So we have the int, and we also have the long. So we said you use only long when the int type is too long for all the values. Then you can use this. So as you can see, int has only 4 bytes, and long has 8 bytes. So for floating types, we should use floating types when you need a number with a decimal. So for example, if you have a number like 9.99, or even something like 4.567, something like that. So in floating types, we said we have 2 types, that is the float and double. So the float and double data types can store fractional numbers, both of them. But here you should actually, for float, for example, here, if we say float f, you'll actually do something like that, and we do f. If we do that, then we can do here can do double D, and you can do the same number, then you can have with that D. So you can define something like that. So you can see this is a float. You can see here. And also remember, float and double, they also have different sizes. You have the 4 bytes and the 8 bytes. So when do you use float? So I think that can be something confusing when you are using float and double. So when do you use float? So the precision of a floating point value indicates how many digits the value can have after the decimal. So the precision of float is only 6 or 7 digits. So here, if you have a float, you can say float, this is only 6 or 7 digits. But for double, has a precision of about 15 digits. So if you want to have almost correct values, then this should be 15 digits. So it's actually safer to use double instead of float. So as you can see here, for double we have 8 bytes and this is 4 bytes. So scientific numbers, so if you want to use scientific numbers, for example, a floating point number can also be a scientific number. For example, you are doing a numbers raised to power of something. So you can also use float or the double. Then we have booleans. So I think we've seen booleans. So for boolean, a boolean data type is declared with the keyword called bool. So you'll see mostly something like this. We are not typing boolean, but bool. Then you do is active. Then you do say here is active, then false. Is activated. You can say is activated. Then you say false, and you can do here also true. So this is how you define. So the bool keyword can only take 2 values, that is the true or false. So that is what you need to understand. Now, Boolean values are mostly used for conditional testing. So, and we will be learning this as we go by. So if you are new to this channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment down below. So we also have characters. So we said the car. So I think we've been able to see that the car data type is used to store a single character. So we said you do car, and we say here we can do grade, then you assign it your grade. So you can see here my character, I have car, grade A. You can do another one, car. We say score. We say here, and you can see it is actually declared with single quotes. So it is different from strings. So string, you do string, then you say first name, then you do here double quotes. Here you do double quotes. You say macro code, or we say macro. So that is the difference between characters. So you see here, this is single quotes and this is double quotes. So that is a character. So the car keyword data type is used to store a single character. Then we now have the strings, which we'll be mostly using in your application. So here you'll be using, this will be string. So the string data type is used to store a sequence of characters. That is, as you can see here, this one stores a single character, but this one is storing a sequence of characters. So we have here macro. So we have macro. So as you can see, we said you can also have another one, string. We say here middle name. Then we can say, sorry, and you can have something different here. You can say middle name, then here you can do code. Then you can also define, we say string full name. Full name can be equals to first name, So we said you can also concatenate, so this should be first name. We said you can concatenate two strings using a plus a symbol. So here you can say first name plus, you can put in a space, and a space you define it by that, then plus middle name. So this will give you full name, and this one should be full name. So as you can see, we have our string here: first name, middle name, full name. That is first name plus, then I have a spacing, then a middle name. That gives me full name. So we've been able to now go through the various data types. That is the int, long, float, double, bool, char, and string. So the numbers, we have integers types, which is actually int and long. Then you have floating types, which is float and double. So float and double, you use them when precision is key, and you want if you want more precision, then you use a double. And you can also take note on the number of sizes that you can store there. Then I want us to learn something now very interesting called typecasting. So we can learn something called typecasting. So what is typecasting? So typecasting is when you assign a value of one data type to another type. So in C# there are two types of, so here we are learning something called typecasting. So, and we say this is when you assign a value of one data type to another data type. That is, you are mixing values here. You are assigning one value of one data type to another data type. So for example, and we said here we have two types. So we have two types of typecasting. So one is what we call implicit casting. So implicit casting, this is automatically is like automatic casting. So this is converting a small type to a larger type size. That is, for example, you are converting from, remember we said data types also has the sizes that they can hold. So you can begin from character to int to long, then to float, then to double. Then we have what we call explicit. This is explicit. Do explicit casting. So this is manual. So this is manual. And the other one we said it is automatic. So this is automatic. And we said this one, you are converting a large type to a smaller size type. So this is the opposite of this one. So this one now you are beginning from here, you are beginning from, you are doing double, then float, then long, then int, then to character. So explicit, you are converting a larger data type value to a smaller size type. So for implicit casting, we say that is automatically done. So implicit casting is done automatically when passing a small size type to a larger size type. For example, for implicit casting, we can say int, we say age, then we do here 10, or we say, let's say 10. Then we can also define another data type. We say double, and we say this should be, remember our rules of variable namings, age, then this should be updated age. You see, so here I've done my age and I've assigned it to updated age. You see here, what this has done is we call it automatic casting. So it has casted, that is what it has done here. It has done int to double. So it has done int to double. And we said automatic casting, that is explicit casting, is done from small to large. So you can see character, int, long, float, double. So it has done this to this, and this is done automatically. Now, explicit casting, you are doing it manually. So explicit casting must be done manually by placing the type in the parentheses, in front of the value. So we use what we call parentheses, in front of the value. So what that means, for example, if we are saying double my age, and then I say this is 16.46, then I say here int my actual age. So my age in double here, you see it is decimal. My actual age int is not these text. You say these text decimals, and our int doesn't take whole numbers. So, but we want to assign. So if we do this, so let me zoom it so that you see it clearly. So if we take my actual age, we assign my age, we'll be getting some errors. So you see here, it is giving us my age. The good thing, if you click here, you can see it is telling you to add explicit cast. So explicit cast means you convert it, you do it manually. So, and we said we are using parentheses in front of the value. So what this does is we need to do something like this, and here we do int. So as you can see, that value is now good. Let me just remove this. So that value is now okay. So you can see the value is now okay. We don't have any errors. So I'll just do here something like that. So this one is we call this manual casting, and here we've done from the large to smallest. So this one is a double to int. So we've converted from double to int. Our double value was this was the age. My age is 16.6, and then int my actual age is that age. So we said int, this one takes only all numbers. So this only takes all numbers that are positive or negative. So if you try to assign it a double value, you must do an explicit, that is an explicit casting. So that must be done manually. And the good thing with Visual Studio currently, if you are not sure what to do, if you just place it there, and you can say add that, so you can see it is able to do it in a very simple way. So that is the one thing that we've been able to do. So we've been able to do that casting. But now there's also one thing that you can learn. So there's one thing called conversion, that is type. So I'll do here type conversions methods. So we have various type conversion methods in C#. So you can convert something to Boolean, to double, to string, to int, and also that is int32 and int64. Now, for example, here, if we say int, and I say here, what do we say here? We say limit, and we say 10. Then you also do a double, and we say, sorry, so I'll do here double, and I say here my limit, and I can say here 5.7989. I can also do here bool and say active, and I can do false. Now, assuming I want to convert something to string, so I can say here string, and I can say print limit. So equals to, here if I try to do here limit, it will give me an error. So you can see I'm trying to assign a string. This is a string, print limit. I'm assigning a value of an int, and this is the int here. So here, remember we were doing, so if you do typecasting, so if we remember we say typecasting here, if we do string, so you can see this will not work. And you can see here something it is saying cannot convert int to string. But I can do something here. I say, if I just come here and I say convert to string, and I pass my limit there. You can see it is working now. So what is type conversion? So type conversion is what you see here. We have the convert to string. Then I've converted the int to string. I can also do convert to string my limit. I've converted the double to string. And if I try to print this, it will actually give me, so I hope you don't have any. So if I do here console, then right line, I can do here right line, then I can provide my print limit. So if I run this, I'm able to get the result. So it will print my result, which is, so as you can see here, it has printed my limit. My limit is 5.89, and it's actually a string. So if I do here limit and also try to print, then it will also give me my value. So you can see it has given me my value, which is 10. So here I can also try to convert this to string, which is active, converting boolean to. So if I print it again, I'll also get the value, and as you can see, this is false. So it has given me my value. So we have various type conversions. So we've only seen convert to string, but now if you want to see more, if I just do here to, you can see I have to string, I have to base 64 string, to 64 character array, to base 64 string, to boolean, to char, to date type, to date time I mean, then to decimal, to double, to int 32, which is actually int, takes only if the value is big enough, then you do int 64. So these are some of the conversions that you can do. So you can see here, so you can do to boolean, to string, to double. So that is now what we are referring to conversions. So many times actually there is need for you to do this conversion, and that's why we have this type of method that you can actually use them. So that is now the type conversion. So I want us to do something today. So apart from the conversions, so we've been able to see the data types and the typecasting, learn about explicit and implicit casting, and we'll also done type conversions. But now I want us to learn something interesting now, where we start interacting with our app. So we want to start doing something we call getting user inputs and printing the inputs from our application. So for example, if we try to say here, so you can say here console, so we can say console, then we say dot right line, and we say we can provide here a message. So we say, please enter your first name. So you can imagine now starting to interact with your application. So please enter your first name. Then once you press enter, then you should be able to get the name of your name that you enter. That is your first name. So you can say a string. You can say user name. You can say entered, or you can say entered name. Then you can have these as, you can say here console read line. You can see there say console read line. Then we can print. You can say here, we can do here, we say your first name is, then we need to provide the entered name. So remember here we can do that, and here we can now provide the entered name. Then we close that. So here we have console. This is like an instruction. Then once you enter the name, then we can read. So we are reading the console, what you typed, and then we print the output. So if I try to launch this particular application now, so we should be able to enter a value, get the output, and try to provide the value. So this should be, let me just stop that. Let me clean it. So if I launch, so let's see. So if I do here, so let's say, please enter your first name. So let's see what this will say for us. So it's taking time, I don't know why. So if you are new to this channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, and also comment below. So this should be first name. Sorry, I can do here, we just do that. Can do here our up stop. So you can see here it is telling us this is our application. So let me show you. So here we have, please enter your first name. Then here you see this cursor, I can say macro code. So if I press enter, you can see it is telling me it is telling me your first name is macro code. So it has read the name that you just provided. So this is the macro code. Your first name is macro code. So let's try to relaunch it again so that you're able to see. So you see it is telling us, please enter your first name. Then we say macro code. So once we do macro code and press enter, then it is telling us your first name is macro code. So we are able to give instruction and take the input and also display it as an output. So we are using console.readLine. So this method here, actually it returns a string. So this is what we get the information from the user, and then we are able to display it. So that is how you get user inputs. So you use this particular method. So I think we had already learned about console.writeLine, which is used to actually to output, that is to print values. But now we are using console.readLine to get the user input. So you're able to get the user input, give the instruction, get the user input, and then also display. So we just write that. So you can see the please enter your first name. We say testing. Then we say here testing, testing. Then if we press enter, then we get, you see your first name is testing. So you've been able to learn two things now: console.writeLine and console.readLine, and also console.write, and we also have console.read. So remember we said we also have something like this. Sorry. So I mean console.readLine, and you also have we have this. You also have writeLine, this one here. And we remember also we said something about this should be. So you can just take this here. Then remember we also talked about something called write. So console.write. So remember also that. So I think we've been able to learn those three things: data types, typecasting, and user input. So that is it for today. And in case you like the video and you want to see more of these particular episodes, Please subscribe to the channel, comment down below, share, and see you in